Am I allowed to do a show like this? This is like oil.
Welcome to this edition of Newsnight with the old man of the clan, Andrew Mwenda, and also CEO of the Independent Magazine. Tonight we will try and see, unfortunately we didn't manage yesterday, squeeze in a couple of more topics, but we'll start with a conversation we had yesterday and continuing from where we were about Mbabazi, the Secretary General of the NRM party. We wanted to speak about loyalty, an issue that Andrew really spoke at length about, and I'll be putting that question to him. Andrew, welcome to the show. Let's start off where you started.
Thank you very much. You can clearly see I'm seated like Oyo as Deputy
King Oyo.
As,
you must be
as
looking,
Deputy King. I am also trying to be like my king.
You're looking for the Oyo challenge. All right.
Yes. Let's see what people will say about this post.
Well, I can imagine they'll have worse comments. Let's discuss the issue on loyalty. We spoke about loyalty here, and you said Amama needs to reconcile with the party, return to the fold, probably offer himself for any service and go home and retire to his farm or his business and leave politics alone, and maybe he will be rewarded. And you have examples of loyalty, that people who have been rewarded for their loyalty.
Yes. I have previously told you about Deng Xiaoping.
Yes.
You see, Deng Xiaoping, I think, wanted to replace Chairman Mao, and he was removed from position of deputy premier, and he was sent to become a manager of a small factory in the rural areas in China. But when he reached there, he started writing letters to Mao, saying, I feel so bad that I disagreed with the position of the party and your own position.
Yes. And
he said that even this punishment you have given me, I think is too light. You should have been punished me more. So he kept writing these letters stating his loyalty to Mao.
These were public letters?
No, they were later published in his biography.
Okay.
But when before Mao died, he started calling back his old comrades whom he had fallen out with during the Cultural Revolution, and he brought him back as prime minister. So when Mao died, he was the one to take over. And that's why I was saying that if you look at these revolutionary movements, China, NRM here, and the Communist Party in China, and Cuba, they are very much alike. So if Mbabazi was smart enough to understand how these systems function, he needed not to disagree with Museveni, especially because Museveni had trusted him so much. Mbabazi has the highest experience in statecraft of any person I know in Uganda today. So he's a natural successor to Museveni. And in that position, and given the confidence the president has put in him, that is so high to manage the army, to manage security, to manage foreign relations, to manage the judicial system, also to be his private envoy on many secret missions, Mbabazi did not need to break ranks with President Yoweri Museveni. He needed to wait him out until either the president retires or dies. But let me tell you,
before we go to loyalty,
I want to give you examples.
Wait him out. I know you'll come to examples. The issue of wait him out, Andrew, you were at a meeting, and I know you've written about it, in 2001, when the president told his inner circle, including Bidandi Sali, including Mama Mbabazi and others, many others you've mentioned before, even in your articles, that they should help him through his last term. And he said, give me the last push, and let's do this for 5 years.
I should tell you, it is Mbabazi who convinced the president in 2003 to amend the constitution and remove term limits.
But was that meeting there? Did the president ever say that was it for him?
Yes. And it is Mbabazi in 2003, you should ask Mbabazi, he will tell you this. It is Mbabazi who goes to the president in 2003 and convinces him that constitutional term limits should be removed.
Maybe for an extra term?
No.
2006.
In fact, from my understanding, they agree that they remove them, and the president says for another 10 years, they introduce multi-party politics. NRM becomes a very strong party with Mbabazi as Secretary General, and after 10 years in 2016, the president could now retire and hand over to Mbabazi because Mbabazi would be in effective control.
So he actually waited him out because he knew 2016 was the time.
Now the president has changed his mind, and in these circumstances, you cannot question him for changing his mind.
So Mbabazi is not right now to change his mind?
Let me give you an example then.
Yes.
You see, the president has spoken something about Rugunda. He said Rugunda was Minister of Foreign Affairs. He removed him and took him back to the same Minister of Foreign Affairs as a Minister of State. Rugunda accepted. Later, he took him back to that same minister as an ambassador, now at the UN.
At a ministerial level.
It did not matter. An ambassador is an ambassador. Look, there was a Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sam Kutesa.
He was answerable to.
Whatever the formalities Museveni would have wanted to put there, Rugunda was just an ambassador at the UN. Rugunda accepted it. So when Rugunda was being sworn in as prime minister, the president said, look, he understands the compromises we have to make. He has been demoted a couple of times, and he never took issue with it. And I think Mbabazi should accept a smaller job, and then he'll grow again. I'll give you an example of Jim Muhwezi. What can Mbabazi say Museveni has done to him? Museveni has arrested Jim Muhwezi. He has sent soldiers with tanks to ransack his house. He has sent him to Luzira. Jim was chief of intelligence. Have you ever heard Jim come out at a press conference or in an article to a newspaper or anywhere in a public or private forum revealed the intelligence that he handled when he was the Director General of External Security Organization. Have you ever heard him criticize the president? See what has happened. Isn't he back in cabinet? And let me tell you, people like Jim will raise to become prime ministers and vice presidents. Or why? Because within the context of the system that they serve, which is a revolutionary movement that went to the bush after protracted struggle, dismantled the state from below, and created and reconstructed a new state. Those institutions have their own modus operandi. They are not like the mainstream political parties you see in America or Europe, that you can break ranks and survive. So Mbabazi has no constituency outside of NRM and outside of Museveni, and therefore, within the spectrum, you see, when I say these things of what people would want me to talk about, what should be. I am talking about how politics is constructed in this specific system.
Let's give examples. You talk about loyalty. I want to give you an example that is closer to us. Raila Odinga. Nobody in the opposition in Kenya pushed for a Kibaki presidency like Raila did. They were in a meeting and they were all not sure where they were going the moment Moi was leaving. One man called Raila Odinga said, Kibaki tosha. Let Kibaki lead. Kibaki was given the opportunity to lead this coalition, the NAC coalition. Where is his reward for loyalty?
No, but what I'm saying, no, actually, first of all, remember that the NAC, which they created at that time, was a makeshift organization. It was not a coherent, unified, cohesive organization like the NRM with an overarching leader. So you had too many cooks in charge of the kitchen of NAC. That is why when they disagreed, Raila broke off. In the second round, Raila defeated Kibaki. Kibaki needed to cheat, to steal the vote for him to stay president. You remember how they stole the vote in 2007? Therefore, for Raila, it was okay because Kibaki did not have overarching control. Let me tell you, in that NRM party, you can never defeat Museveni. That is why in Chankwanzi last year, December 15th, in NEC and the National Delegates Conference, Mbabazi could not raise 2 votes. Why? It is because of the way that political party is constructed. And for me, I am convinced that even now, Mbabazi has not spoken out against Museveni badly, although his daughter and wife have, especially the daughter Nina,
so much,
she has written so much on Facebook, attacking the first lady, attacking Mhozi, then sometimes attacking the president.
It could be somebody else's account. It could be a fake account.
I have a flyer on the wall inside the State House. It is clearly understood at State House that Mbabazi personally, not even Jacqueline, Mbabazi personally encourages the daughter to write these vicious attacks against the first lady and against the president and against people like. So already within the first, let me tell you, when George Stephanopoulos disagreed with Hillary Clinton, he ended up leaving the Clinton cabinet. I tell you, if you want to get along with the president, also get along with his wife. Because however close you may be to that president, when everybody retires and they go home, she's with him in bed. She can keep poisoning his mind about you. In the long term, whoever fights Janet will lose the heart from Museveni. Whoever fights a person like Mhozi, in the long term, in the short term you may win a little bit, but in the long term you lose. So if you want to understand the power dynamics, whether it is America, whether it is Britain, whether it is Uganda, always, if you want to be in the good books of Museveni, be in the good books of his wife. All right, we really must end it there. I thought we would throw in Jamil Bukuru, but we can't. We really have run out of time. But I can tell one thing. I think I may be the only Ugandan who has met and dined with Jamil Mukuru. So next time we should discuss this. All right, that and much more next week on Newsnight.